10 fast and easy fall decoration ideas. Whether you call it fall, whether you call it autumn, I think you're going to enjoy these crafts. They're so quick to make, so easy, and they're going to make your home look gorgeous. Okay, no time to chat. Let's get on with crafting. For this quick and easy craft, I'm going to use this chopping board. It's got a little bit of damage on the corner there, but that doesn't matter because you won't see it. Just give it a little bit of a wipe over, out with the Scotch glue stick, and cover it all over. I'm going to use this paper, which I thought was a nice alternative to the usual patterns and designs that you have on fall, but it's also tying in with all the muted colours that I'm using for this video because I think it's nice. Sometimes it's good to have bright colours, other times it's nice to have something a bit more neutral. I know. Chop the paper off. Yes, I have got a hot glue thumb protector on. There's a good reason for that. I had my hand right back here and I was cutting and the blade was right down here and I thought, oh, this feels really safe. I won't have to worry at all. And then I looked over at my thumb. As I did, I completely forgot what I was doing with this hand. I went jump and now I've got a really deep cut on that finger and it won't stop bleeding. So I put a plaster on. It still doesn't look very nice. So I've stuck a thumb protector on to save you all having to look at my nasty looking thumb. Right, let's carry on. It took a while, but I found where the join, well, as best as possible, suits the lines on there. Turn it over, and then out with the knife, being a lot more careful this time. Now I'm just going to sand the edges off a little bit. I just like the finish you get. Now using hot glue, I'm going to glue a little bit of string onto the back and then wind it around. Now get whatever it is you use as a pokey thing. Make a hole from the back to the front. And then work the hole bigger from the front, pushing the ends in. If you work that from the back, they'll all stick out and won't look very pretty. Get a piece of twine, fold it in half and poke the loop from front to back. Then bring the two ends through the loop. And you get a nice finish at the top there. Now I'm just going to put a dab of glue, loosen it a bit, tiny dab of glue, hardly anything. And then tighten it again. And now when you decide how long you want to hang this, if you're going to hang it, you can tie a knot in it or you can dangle something from it. Right, now we're going to go on to this mushroom. You can glue anything fall related onto the front of this. I thought that fungi would look very nice, just appealed to me, but you can put anything on. You can put pumpkins, you can put some corn, or some autumn leaves. Now I'm going to add some moss around the bottom. Oh, you may be interested in my moss container. I use this, it's a plastic saucepan. And just glue it around the bottom of the mushroom. I glue a little half round of gingham check wooden bead, or buffalo check. And now, oh, I would leave it like that, but you know me, I can't resist a bow. I'm not going to put anything fancy on because I think it would spoil it. But I think I'll do just a very simple 2-loop bow. And glue it there. If you're enjoying watching this video, then please consider giving me a thumbs up, and it would be great if you could subscribe too. Right, let's have a look what this looks like up on my display. this next quick and easy craft, I've got this frame. I picked it up from a charity shop for 50p. I do love my 50p frames. Now, you can decide how quick and easy you want this to be. If you use a bigger frame than me, it'll take longer. If you use a little small frame, then it'll be a lot faster. You'll just use one pumpkin instead of I'm going to use 3. We need to remove the back by taking out these nails and then slip the back board out. Now slip the glass out. We're going to save some time by not cleaning the glass because we don't need it, and we're going to save some time by not painting the frame, which is one of the biggest time draws of any quick and easy craft. I've cut out a cardboard pumpkin shape, which I am now going to cover with twine. Now you may think, oh, that's not quick and easy. You can do this with any size twine or nautical rope that you like. So if you've got a really thick nautical rope, it'll cover this in absolutely no time. I'm doing this purely because I enjoy the process. And that's one of your pumpkins made. For this pumpkin, I'm going to use some burlap. I'm going to put hot glue over the pumpkin, and then some in the middle too, and turn it over onto the burlap. And now cut around the edge. Wasn't that quick and easy for a pumpkin? And we're going to do exactly the same, but this time with this lovely fabric here. Look at that. I think it's going to be perfect. So now you know the routine. Around the edge with some hot glue and cover the middle. In the ideal world for fabric, I would have used Eileen's tacky glue. I'm regretting it now. I thought, oh, I can do this quicker with hot glue, and it's not as nice a finish. I'm going to take this piece of foam board. Now mine's a bit beat up. You're better off not using one that's been damaged. And I'm going to glue this to the backboard using lots and lots of hot glue. Out with my knife and cut off the excess. If you've got those little hooky lips, you'll be fine here. Put this in and put the hooky lips on. Due to the fact I've got little nails of mine that were rusty and bent, I'm going to try going really fast with the hot glue and then popping it into place. And it worked. I'm going to glue these pumpkins into place, and because I got a damaged board, I'm going to start by covering a lot of the damage with my first pumpkin. I've cut off varying lengths of this 8mm rope that Anne and Jason bought me. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love this nautical rope, and I think it's going to make wonderful little stalks, or I think it's peduncles they're called. Peduncles, something like that. I'm going to glue them into place on the pumpkins. You can make them all face the same way if you want to. I'm quite loving the look of them all being a little bit different. Firstly, I'm going to add some of this wood shaving to the top of the pumpkin and the bottom of the stalk. This is completely optional, but I'm going to put a bow on the bottom. And then, just to tie in this bow with all the bows on the pumpkins, I've added a little black and white bow. Now that was a lot of fun to make. You can add to the amount of effort you put in. If you put a little piece of twine all the way around the outside of these shapes, that would finish it off nicely. You can cover this whiteboard with something else, so that'll take some extra time, but we'll have a bit of pattern on it then. You can paint the frame. You can make all twine pumpkins. There are lots of alternatives, but that is about the quickest I could think of to make it, unless you just cut out these shapes and you glued some paper on, completely skipping out the section where I put the twine on. Well, let's have a look what this looks like up on my display. this quick and easy craft, I'm going to use this sign. I got this from a charity shop for 50p, but I'm sure you'll get this sort of thing in Hobby Craft, Hobby Lobby, even Dollar Tree if you're in the States, that sort of thing. And because this is quick and easy, we're not going to use this side, but we're not going to take anything off it. We're going to leave it as it is, and then you've got a reversible sign if you want it anyway. So I'm going to turn this over. Now you can, if you want to, cover this with paper, but this is quick and easy, so I'm just going to draw some lines on this to make it look like planks. This is a pro marker in header. Using my ruler, just join where the planks are supposed to be. Now I'm going to take some tumbling blocks. With the measurements for this, I needed to cut one of the tumbling blocks a bit shorter, and then I'm going to glue 3 along the bottom. And I've just realised not all tumbling blocks are completely square, these aren't, so I had to take it off and turn it around. So now I do another layer, but don't put all the joins in the same place. Think of bricks on a wall. You want to alternate where the joins come. I write autumn eggs in capital letters and then put these little happy dots on. They really brighten it up and give it a sort of country fun look, I think. Now I glue this to the front of the container and you'll never guess what we're going to put in there. Now I've got this rooster. I think it's a spoon rest. There are dips there. It doesn't seem to be a mould, it doesn't sit completely flat, so I'm thinking a spoon rest, but I thought this would be perfect to put there. I think he looks absolutely gorgeous there, so time to glue him on. So now we just need to decorate this little corner down here. Make a bow shape. Tie it with a piece of twine, glue your bow into place, and then I'm going to add a few acorns. You can decorate this however you want to, whatever you think is going to look pretty or suit your home decor. So now I'm going to tuck a little bit of this into the egg container, the egg compartment. I'll add some eggs and let's see what this looks like up on my display. Quick and easy fall craft, I've got this. It's a gourd shaker. It's got lots of marks on it, but that doesn't worry me because I'm going to change this. The first thing I need to do is open it up, and there's this little peg here that I need to take out. You may not be able to find this exact gourd shaker, but if you look around for something that looks like the top of a little mushroom or a big mushroom. Pull out your stick and empty out whatever was making it rattle, which is that lot. That hole is much bigger than I wanted it to be, so you can either fill it in, which is a lot of work, but I'm just going to turn it into a window. Using a skewer, I put a little frame on my window. This is turning into a real case of serendipity. I thought, well, I might as well embrace the fact that I've had to put a window in and put a chimney on. I found this bit of wood with just the right angle to fit a chimney there. Now we need to glue this to the top of the stalk, which is another piece of wood that I've cut to a reasonable size, and then pop it on. This toadstool is going to have spots, and I'm going to stick one over the hole in the back. There, that fixed that. and now randomly dot some spots around. Easier said than done. I don't like random, I can never get it to look right. And just to finish off, I add a little bow to the top of the chimney because I think it looks cute. You can add more things if you wanted to add a base, if you wanted to paint it. You could put a little something in the window if you've ended up with a hole like mine. You could put little curtains in. There are lots of ways that you could spend more time on this. But I think for a quick and easy fall decoration, that's pretty good. Let's have a look what it looks like up on my display.
And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin. Restoring everything within. Oh.
For this craft, I'm going to take this little tray and cover it in some, this is 8mm rope. Pop some hot glue on. For those of you who are thinking, no, don't cover that tray. Hot glue isn't for life generally. So I'll be able to take the decoration back off and just display it as a tray if I want to. Stick that on there. I wouldn't recommend you try that with a priceless antique or anything, but this is just something I picked up from a thrift store, charity shop for 10p. So I don't mind using it, and if it did come to the worst and it wasn't usable afterwards, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So just glue this to your little tray. Any little tray will do, or even a cardboard round would do just as good a job. Because we're just going to make a really quick and easy mini wreath, because not everybody has a huge room that they're going to display something in, or they don't have the space, or maybe you're a student and you're in college and you really don't want to have massive things in your room. So this is perfect. Maybe you want to take this as a fall gift to somebody who's in hospital and they really can't display much, but this is a size that you could display if you're on very limited space. When you finish, cut your rope at an angle. Just makes for a neater end. And there you can see that's a lot neater than if I'd cut the edge straight. A little tip, if you need to empty your beads out, then if you corral them all with a little piece of nautical rope like that, they won't keep rolling off your desk. So now I'm going to tie a knot in the one end of this. And then decide where the top and where the bottom's going to be. I think that could be the top. And glue it into place. And pop a bit of masking tape on. You don't need many beads on this, many as you fancy. Stick the other end on. Add a little bit of masking tape. You haven't got to put the masking tape on, but I find that it holds a little better with masking tape. So we've got our hanger. Now you can put your hanger on last, but then I find it's very difficult to get things exactly central. So by doing that now I can see where this is going to hang. So now I'm just going to put a really simple decoration on this. A leaf in the middle, and I've got this lovely acorn. I'm going to stick that on there as a finishing touch. Change of plan, before the glue's dry, I'm going to put some moss on. Oh, that look cute. My moss isn't very clean because it comes directly from my apple tree that's groaning under the weight of it. And then back on with the acorn. Oh, look at that. I've got so much stuck to my glue gun. There. Oh, I like that. I think that's so cute. It's so fast and easy. As I say, you could make it using a circle of cardboard. That way you haven't got to worry about trying to find something that you could fix it to. You could use the top of a jar. Just use your imagination. Just come up with something round or oval or triangular if you really wanted to try something more exciting. So let's have a look what this looks like up on my display. Anne and Jason sent me these pumpkins and look at them, aren't they gorgeous? I would be quite happy to never do anything with these pumpkins and just look at them, because for some reason they make me smile. I just think they're wonderful. But we're here for craft. These arrive for me to make craft with, so let's get busy. Now I've got this candlestick, and I'm going to keep the colour on this because I think it is gorgeous, but we're going to make quite a dramatic display. As usual, we've got the issue that it's very difficult for me to show you anything under my very low camera. The first thing I'm going to do is glue some of this to the top. It's very messy. I think the paper would probably be better. You can get a paper one of these. I think that's called Excelsior. And then I'm going to add little bits of glue inside too, because otherwise only the bottom is sticking. So now the top is sticking to the bottom bits that are stuck, if you see what I mean. You could use, if you bought yourself a bird's nest, something like that, you could just pop that on. I think that would do just as good a job. And would probably be a lot less messy. So that's the effect I'm looking for. See what I mean about messy? Now I'm going to take these out of the pumpkins. I'm not going to throw that away because at the end of fall, I am going to put this back in and I'm going to keep reusing these pumpkins and probably just leave them as a display over Christmas time as well. They look like snowy pumpkins. I don't know, I'll think about it. And I'm going to put 3 or 4 pumpkins, I'm not sure, so take the end out of this one. Yep, I think 3 will be better than 4. So I'll leave the end in this one, get my skewer and poke it into the end of the pumpkin. Take this pumpkin, make a hole with my pokey thing, thread it on, cut off some skewer. Now, when you're pushing these through, they don't necessarily go where you want them to, as you can see there. I'm really annoyed. I came through the side. Make another hole in the bottom. Pop the last one on top. I think I will need to add a little bit of hot glue, so I'm going to pop it onto the skewer there, but I'm not going to put the pumpkin down just for a few seconds to let it cool a bit, because they're polystyrene. I think it'll just melt. So let it get almost cool. And then push it down. And the same with the top one. Now I'm going to get some more of this, I've decided. I know, another change of mind. I'm going to glue it in the joins. If you're going to be doing this and it's not an afterthought like mine, then I'd advise you to stick this on at each process of adding the next pumpkin. It will be a lot easier. If you want to keep the colour theme, you can either use some of the twine that's actually got wire running through it, or you can wrap some twine around some wire. I'm going to use these to make a few little tendrils coming out of the pumpkins. It's just a bit of green florist wire that I've wrapped around my pokey thingy. Just be aware, if you've got children or pets, these are quite pointy and could do some damage if a child got them in their eye or a pet ran up too quickly and bumped it, so you may decide to leave these off altogether. For the bottom layer, I've made some bigger ones. I'm just going to turn the ends in. I think that's safer. They're bothering me, sticking out and looking all vicious. And now it's up to you what you want to add to this. You can add things like orange colours, you can put on something like that. That's very pretty. Or you can stick to greens and creams. So I've got this eucalyptus leaf, and then I've got this white flower which would go on. Decisions. I like them both. Oh, I have to make my mind up now. It could be a while before I turn the camera back on. I had terrible trouble deciding, but I finally decided that because I've already done a fall video with lots of bright oranges and reds, I'm going to stick with greens and see how that goes. Coming from the tendril area now, I'm just going to add a few little eucalyptus leaves. And I'm just going to get slightly bigger as I go down with the flowers, because the pumpkins are getting bigger too. I think it'll look nice. And I got this one that I'm going to put on when I finally fix it to the stand. This looks very complex, but it really isn't. It didn't take long at all. If you wanted to make it more fancy, you could paint the pumpkins or whatever. So I'm just going to assemble this on top of my candlestick, add the little poof of flowers on the bottom, add a bow, and then let's have a look, see what this looks like up on my display. For this project, I've got a few bits and pieces. I've got this check here. I don't think this counts as buffalo check. It's a 12 by 12 paper, and I've got a placemat. I got 4 placemats and 4 coasters for £1. And they're solid wood, very nice, so I can use those. And I've got this that I picked up for either £1 or 50p in the thrift store. I'm going to start by gluing my paper to this placemat. Because you won't see the placemat, you could use anything. You could use something with a duck on, or with an elephant, or with something that says it's hot because it's summer. It really doesn't matter. Nobody will see it. Have you ever seen a placemat that says it's hot because it's summer? I say the most weird things sometimes. Right, let's get this stuck onto there. And now is not the time to find out that I've got a little bit of black on the edge there showing, but we'll work around that. Part of the fun of crafting is always coming up with workarounds on things that go a little bit wrong. Well, they're not a little bit wrong, they're a challenge. So while that's drying, I'm going to take this picture. Now I know you may think that's a bit weird. What on earth are you doing with that picture? It doesn't look at all autumn now. But I have got this pro marker in Halloween. I'm going to colour in just the cross stitch part on this that are pink. And I'm going to turn the flowers into pumpkin coloured flowers, which I think is going to work perfectly. There we go, that's Farm Autumn now. You may think, oh, where am I going to find one of these? It is surprising how many of these you find in thrift stores. Now I'm going to hot glue this to my backing board. Trying to make it as central as possible. I got this self-adhesive lace. I love it. You can't always get it in the shops. So when I see it, I usually buy a few rolls. But this is my last roll, and I'm very tight on this. So I'm hoping it'll make it all the way around. I made it with that much to spare. Whew. I'll put a hanger on, nothing fancy. Now I'm going to put a bow on, and I'm looking at the colours. I think we need to consider the colours. We've got cream in here, we've got orange on the flowers, black and white everywhere else. So I'm going to try and find something that ties all these in. And glue that underneath the picture frame. This is quite a substantial bow, so I'm putting quite a substantial amount of hot glue there. And in the middle, I'm going to put this half bead of buffalo check pattern. And look at that! It didn't take much time at all, and the most time consuming I think was colouring this in. If you're lucky enough to find a picture with perfect fall colours in, or even something with pumpkins on, that would be fabulous. And they are usually quite reasonable to pick up. So now, let's see what this looks like up on my display. this project, I'm going to use 3 blocks. I've painted this one because it was blue. I haven't painted very well inside there, but that's because you're not going to see it. And then I got myself 3 little pieces of twigs that I'm going to use as pumpkin stems. On this size pumpkin, I'm just going to take some chalk paint and run it down the edges.
We let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer.
With this pumpkin, first I'm going to do the definition bit on it. Now I've got this, which used to be for pressing the buttons on my phone. I'm going to use this, dab it in to some white paint, and then pop it onto my pumpkin. While those two are drying, I'm going to deal with this pumpkin. I thread the ribbon through the pumpkin once and glue the back. And then thread it again. What I'm aiming for is filling these holes. And I think one more could do it. This will all depend on the thickness of ribbon or yarn or whatever you're using. No, I think one more wind. Then a little bit of fluffing. And on this pumpkin, I'm just going to cover the edges with a little bit of this green Versa Magic ink. Now it's time to glue on some stalks.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air.
I'm going to put some of this burlap around the middle of this one because I think it just needs a little something. And finish off with a little bit of white lace around the middle. Well, I'm pleased with how they turned out. Let's have a look what they look like up on my display.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now
For this project, I'm using some of my Rust-Oleum chalky finish furniture paint. I got a pumpkin, a little raffia bow, and a piece of vintage lace. This basket I got for, I think it was 20 cents when I was in France from a flea market. I'm just going to lightly dry brush this just to raise the colour a little bit. I think it's a little bit sombre. I fancy it looking a little bit more light and airy. Dry brushing is one of the techniques I don't mind using when I'm trying to do quick and easy videos because it dries so quickly. It's virtually dry already. I'll do the bottom as well, just because I like the look of it. Isn't that pretty? I take a tatty old plastic bag and pop it into the bottom of the basket. I'm going to take these wood shavings. I've used quite a lot of these in this video. And pop some hot glue onto the bag, which will melt it a little bit. Pop in my wood shavings on the top. And now while that hot glue is cooling, we're going to add this bit of lace. So choose the back, there I think, and then glue it into place. Right the way around. Start there, and then a bit more hot glue. Stick that one over the top. Now to glue my little raffia bow on the front. Then I'm going to use more hot glue in the middle of the wood shavings. And then I pop my pumpkin on there. And then completely optional, I've decided to put some more of these eucalyptus leaves around the edge, just because I love the colour on eucalyptus leaves when you're using all neutral colours. And I spy a little spot for an extra leaf. And there you go, that was super quick, super easy and super cute. I just love this. Now you could, if you wanted to do more, you could paint your pumpkin, you could make your pumpkin from scratch. You could put a little bow on the top here. There are a few things you could do, but if you don't want to take that much time, then as you can see, this is plenty. Right, let's have a look what this looks like up on my display. For this project, I'm going to use some of this grey fabric and some of these beads, some white fabric, and these I picked up in the charity shop, lots of different letters, and fall was there, so I thought, why not make a fall banner? The letters came with this, so I'll use this. It's some sort of reinforced twine. First of all, I'll decide how long I want the banner to be. About 3 feet, so I'll cut a little bit extra too. I'm going to cut 20 centimetre strips and tie them onto the banner. On this first one, I'm going to put some glue because we do need it to stay in place. Otherwise, everything will fall off the one end as I'm putting it on the other, which would not be amusing when you're working with beads. After tying on 2 of each colour, I'm then going to put a nice little selection of beads. I'm going to put a buffalo check, and then a pumpkin colour, and then a white. And then my F. These have got 2 holes in the top, so it'll make sure they actually stand flat or lie flat. Because I don't want to waste beads going behind the sign, I'm just going to glue that into place. And now the bead is going to stay put where we can all see it instead of being hidden behind the cardboard. And then reverse the order. Go for white, pumpkin colour, and a check. And now tie on another 4 pieces of cloth. I'm sure you'll be much more organised than me. I was rushing to get this last project done, and I tore all the fabric into strips, and I forgot to actually cut it into lengths. So I've got to stop regularly to cut a few more lengths. And then just repeat the process until you get right to the other end of your banner, your garland, or whatever you want to call it. So that is my last craft of the day, and I just think it looks so cute. I love the fact there are lots of different bits and pieces in here. If you want to spend more time on this, then you can do things like cut smaller pieces of fabric, make the whole thing longer. You can paint your own wooden beads. It's up to you. You can even hang extra things on. One thing I did consider but thought better of it was I was going to hang some of these like corn things on as well, but I didn't. I think it would have looked, for what I'm thinking of, a little bit over the top. So let's have a look what this looks like up on my display. Up there, I'll pop a link to other videos I've made, and if you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up. I've had so much fun using different things and using a different colour scheme to the sort I would normally use. And I've come away with only 1 injury. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, have fun. Bye!